you have the decimal value, if you know what the sine ratio or the cosine ratio or the tangent ratio is, the way that you can find the actual angle is by using what's called an inverse trig ratio. And so the inverse trig ratios are located on your calculator. They're in the same keys as the sine, cosine, and tangent, but instead of second, it's the diamond button. So this is called the inverse sine, inverse cosine, inverse tangent. And so if you know what a sine ratio is equal to, you can actually solve for the unknown angle by taking the inverse of that trig ratio. So it's designated with the trig ratio itself and what looks like to the power of -1, but that just represents the inverse of. And then you do that calculation, and that's going to give you the angle whose sine ratio is that value. So if I took this diamond y to get inverse sine of my decimal point 8988, and then close that off and hit enter, notice it's again approximation, but most of these you'll round to the nearest whole number, possibly to the nearest tenth, but I get 64 degrees as my answer. Okay, so if you know that the cosine ratio of some angle is 0.6820, to find the angle itself, you take the inverse cosine of that ratio. And when you calculate it, so diamond z to get inverse cosine, 0.682, hit enter. Notice 46.999 is going to round up to 47. And then finally the tangent. If you know the tangent of some theta, some angle, is this ratio, you can find the angle by taking the inverse tan of that ratio and calculating. So once again, diamond t gives you inverse tangent. Type in your ratio, 0.1405, close it off and hit enter, and you get approximately 8 degrees.